Hello guys, what's up? Today's video is going to be about the prompt engineer in English. In the previous ChatGPT video, I briefly explained about the prompt engineer. Today, let me give you a brief review of a book titled Prompt Engineer, A New Career Propelled by ChatGPT, written by Seo-Sung Won, CEO of UMedilab, and Chai Si-eun, Design Manager of UMedilab, and introduce how to become a prompt engineer. Prompt originally referred to the person who gives actors their lines and cues from an unseen location in theater productions. The machine called prompter that informs announcers of the script and instructions also derived from this. In the era of AI, prompt refers to a conversation with artificial intelligence or a question posed to it. With the increasing demand for prompt services, freelance service platforms have emerged that directly connect prompt engineers with clients. One of the most representative talent markets is Fiverr. Fiverr added a new category of AI services in January, enabling clients to directly request prompt writing to their desired prompt engineer. Nearly 20,000 talents were uploaded in just 2 months. The commission fee varies from $15 to $1,000, depending on the prompt engineer's level. Other platforms such as Etsy and Upwork have also introduced relevant categories for prompt engineer intermediation services. PromptBase, a prompt market, also has a section where you can directly hire prompt engineers. This book explains the misconceptions about prompt engineering. In conclusion, prompt engineering is not only used in ChatGPT, but also in various AI models with slight differences in writing methods or formats. Anyone can easily start prompt engineering, but it requires a lot of know-how, study, and prompt development experience. Prompt engineers can do their job without knowing how to code, but having a minimum understanding of coding can make them more competent. Prompt engineering can be done as a side job, and those who speak English can have a competitive advantage. The Korean language recognition rate is also increasing. The GPT-4 model is known to have a Korean language recognition performance of 77%. Computers cannot understand human language, so people created programming languages such as C language, Python, and Java to make the computer understand. The computer responds to human requests by executing the code sequentially. Now, there are artificial intelligence models that can code. One of the most representative examples is OpenAI's Codex, which can perform tasks such as write a program in C language that outputs the multiplication table, and creating a Python program to crawl information from a specific website. Codex supports 12 languages such as Python and JavaScript. It enables users to perform simple repetitive tasks and basic code writing even without being an advanced developer. That's right. Prompt engineering is also important in coding using AI. The Japanese company, SniffOut, which develops VR and AI, has developed a prompt that helps write source code for the Flutter smartphone app development framework. With this prompt, they were able to implement a simple smartphone app in just a week. Although it may take some time for no code to be realized without any knowledge of coding, the role of prompt engineers is becoming increasingly important even in the field of coding. Towards AI providing AI-related information and educational content in the U.S., and Sander Schulhoff, a prompt engineer, operate Learn Prompting, a platform that provides free online education on prompt engineering and allow anyone to view documented prompt engineering material and exchange opinions. It is the most comprehensive FOSS, free and open-source software, curriculum on prompt engineering. It is said that the online education platform in the U.S., Udemy, has over 800 courses on prompt engineering. One course with over 12,000 students has accumulated sales of over 900 million Korean won. There is also a case where individual prompt engineers have come together to establish an educational institution outside of the platform, namely, Prompt Yes, located in San Francisco, USA. 2 prompt engineers teach online courses to government agencies and students directly. Universities are also introducing prompt engineering courses. Ethan Mollick, a professor at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania, who teaches technology and entrepreneurial spirit, teaches prompt engineering by assigning students to write short papers using only AI. Sam Potolicchio, a professor at Georgetown University in the U.S. who teaches prompt engineering, said, "The most important thing to learn in education is how to ask questions," and finally, that has become possible. The risk of prompt hacking is increasing. Prompt hacking refers to finding vulnerabilities in generated AI services using prompts. Giant AIs embed certain commands in advance through fine-tuning as developers train them. However, if users hack this, specifically the prompt value, it can cause serious problems. A representative example is the hacking incident involving Microsoft's Bing Chat in February this year. Kevin Liu, a student at Stanford University, revealed the hacking process on his Twitter account. As seen on the screen, Kevin was able to leak all of Bing Chat's prompts by simply creating a prompt. However, preventing such hacking is also the role of prompt engineers. In the near future, the field of prompt engineering may also be divided into specific areas such as security and development. The prompt engineering business is divided into two categories, one for companies looking to hire prompt engineers and the other for prompt engineers themselves. Digital Recipe, a Japanese AI service company, has developed a copywriting AI service based on the GPT model called Catchy Works for GPT. They provide a proxy service where they send a dedicated prompt engineer to companies in need of prompt engineers to create prompts and provide consulting services on AI utilization. They attend regular meetings with the company twice a month and receive around 5 million Korean won, approximately 500,000 Japanese yen, for their services. There is also a service that helps prompt engineers create better prompts. Prompt Perfect provides engineers with an optimized tool. If you enter a prompt that you have written simply, the service supplements the prompt using known techniques and suggests the best prompt statistically. The service costs between $40, approximately 50,000 Korean won, and $7,000, approximately 9 million Korean won, per month. Currently, companies in various fields such as education, fintech, AI, content, law, translation, marketing, and design are looking for prompt engineers. There is also demand from law firms such as YuniconDNA in the UK and Midpage in Germany. Prompt engineers use the prompts they have created to generate various results such as advertising copy, branding ideas, and product descriptions. They are responsible for creating prompts for software that the company already has or is planning to develop. Salaries for prompt engineers vary widely. For example, AI company Anthropic offers a salary range of approximately 100 million Korean won to 430 million Korean won. Korean company Written Technologies has set a salary of 100 million Korean won. Japanese companies such as Monster Lab and Zaim are also offering around 10 million Japanese yen, approximately 100 million Korean won. Prompt engineers need to have several key competencies. For example, in the book, it cites Christian Fagerli, who is a prompt engineer working in Norway, as an example. He introduced 4 competencies on his website, www.alobtai.com, in a post entitled, How to Start Your Prompt Engineering Career. The first is writing and communication skills, and the second is understanding how language models work. The third competency is creativity, and the fourth is understanding technical skills. It means that you should understand the basic principles and concepts of generative AI technology and artificial intelligence. If you know how to write simple Python programming code, you can be ahead of others. In other words, it means that you need to have both logical thinking and writing skills, which are humanities skills, and an understanding of technology, which is a science skill. Currently, the ability to converse well with AI from a linguistic perspective is more important than coding skills, making prompt engineering seem more advantageous to humanities majors. The most important thing for someone who wants to be a prompt engineer is a diverse range of knowledge and perspectives, as well as experience using generative AI. To become a prompt engineer, what should you prepare? The author consulted various overseas prompt engineers and referred to the advice of the Run Prompt Discord community. The common opinion is to accumulate a lot of writing and conversational experience. They also say that an understanding of technology such as natural language processing and deep learning is necessary. You need to keep up with the characteristics of each AI model, API connection methods, fine-tuning, etc. You should continuously learn about the latest technology trends, but it is not necessary to delve too deeply. Critical thinking, emphasized in philosophy and humanities, is also very important. Many prompt engineers, such as Anna Bernstein, a prompt engineer at Copy.ai, an actual AI service abroad, have majored in humanities or have related backgrounds. Albert Phelps, a prompt engineer at Mudano, an AI consulting firm, said, "You often see prompt engineers who major in history, philosophy, and English." He also said that prompt engineers have to extract the essence or meaning of something using a limited number of words. As mentioned earlier, Ethan Mollick, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, said, "It is clear that the future will be an era of humanities majors." If you search ChatGPT prompt list or Midjourney prompt list on Google, you can easily find foreign materials organized on GitHub, blogs, and other platforms. Also, you can find related materials on GPTable, http://gptable.net, a Korean prompt sharing site. While working on a prompt sharing site, it is important to build your own portfolio. If you upload the prompts you have developed to foreign platforms such as FlowGPT, or Korean platforms such as GPTable, you can utilize them as a portfolio when looking for a job. Daisuke Miyagawa, the creator of Doraemon Works, a Japanese AI service, and a prompt engineer, compares prompt engineering to parenting. He says that through repeated AI training, there is also the joy of creating an avatar that reflects one's personality and individuality. Similarly, Saya, a Japanese prompt engineer who has never coded before, leads a team of prompt engineers. She says, "The important thing is passion and motivation, and it would be more advantageous to have quick information gathering skills and English proficiency." Daniel Avila Arias, a Chilean prompt engineer living in Grand Rapids, Michigan, USA, advises that while code works in a sequential order, AI does not necessarily work that way. He says that it is important to explain things carefully, as if passing on knowledge to a 5-year-old child. To use the OpenAI platform, you first need to sign up. Click on the Sign Up button to register, and complete email verification and purpose selection. Select Personal Use, if it's for personal use. Once you have finished logging in, click on Playground on the top bar to access it. The large window is where you input prompts, and the right bar is the option bar where you can specify the model type, performance, input method, and so on. The Mode is where you can choose the way to input prompts, and the default is Complete Mode, which allows you to input prompts in a paragraph. The Model supports up to a certain type of GPT-3 model, Text DaVinci 003. In Chat mode, you can use the GPT 3.5 Turbo model used in ChatGPT. Each model has different characteristics and prices. Temperature is not an actual temperature, but a value that controls the degree of randomness in the generated output. The higher the temperature value, the narrower the probability difference between the selected words, tokens, resulting in a wider variety of sentences. On the other hand, with a lower temperature value, only tokens with a high probability are selected, resulting in similar sentences being repeatedly output. When using a spelling checker, it is better to lower the temperature, and when using a novel writing tool, it is better to increase the temperature. Maximum length is the maximum length of a sentence that can be generated at once. Reducing it does not reduce the length of the sentence itself, but if it is set too small, the sentence may be cut off in the middle while being output. Since the price varies depending on the number of words, tokens, it is recommended not to extend it indefinitely. The GPT model has an algorithm that selects the most probable word probabilistically. Top P adjusts the number of candidates that can probabilistically appear. If this value is 0.7, the word is selected only from the top 70% candidates in order of probability. For example, suppose there are 10 candidates that can come after the word Gyeongsang in order of probability, such as Buk-do, Nam-do, province, province resident, Nam-buk-do, college, university, national university, Suji, investment, etc. When the top P value is 0.7, words like Gyeongsang National University, Gyeongsang Suji, and Gyeongsang Investment will never be generated. There are frequency penalty and presence penalty. Frequency penalty is an option that penalizes frequently used words to avoid generating repeated sentences. It is recommended to adjust the value between 0.1 and 1. Increasing the value of frequency penalty helps avoid the same words. Presence penalty also lowers the probability of duplicated words, reducing the likelihood of repeated words. It is desirable to increase the value of presence penalty when you want to talk about new topics. You can set the value to 2 to avoid repetition completely, but in this case, it will be difficult to see a properly generated output. Best of is an option that tries to generate multiple sentences and outputs the best looking one among them. For example, if you set it to 5, it will try to generate 5 times and output the best one among them. However, it is not recommended to use it because it slows down the speed and increases the cost. Truly, it seems that we are in an age where AI literacy is necessary. We need to go beyond simple searching and use and interpret artificial intelligence well to be competitive. Shall we end here today? Thank you for listening to somewhat boring content.